All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lane 9. My name is Garrett Zatlin. We're presented by the Stride Report. I'm here with a very special guest. He is the indoor 800 meter national champion from last winter. He has run 145 or 800 meters, and he is also your newest collegiate record holder over 1,000 meters. It is Yusuf Bizimana. Yusuf, how you doing, man? And how are we feeling after that 1K record?
To be honest, I ain't even tired. I'll be real. Um, it was something that we had planned to do, and it was going to be a one and done. And I'm happy I got it done because I've been doing a lot of over distance work recently, and it's time to go back to the speed. So I'm happy I got it
Okay.
done.
So it's safe to say that when you were going to do this 1K, you were going to try to be attacking this record, and then when you're kind of towing the line, are you going for 218? Or are you going for 217? Is that were those kind of the mindset going into it?
The plan was to go for 217. Um, that was in my head, but what I realized was no matter what happens, if I get the record, that's what's going to be talked about. Just getting the record. So across the line, I was a little bit upset that I just didn't dip under 218.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, everyone was still happy for me. I was elated, and yeah, collegiate record holder. I can't ask for any more, to be honest.
Yeah, and just I mean, kind of going into that, I mean, you look at some of the names who have run, under 219. It's a very small list. Two of which are really, other than you, were record eligible times. Wascom went under, but he was an oversized track. I believe there was a separate individual from earlier back before 2000 where it wasn't an eligible mark. But you're now joining Brandon Kidder and Rich Peters, and it's such select company. When you think about all of the men who have been top tier middle distance runners to have gone, have run as fast as they have, but yet never run as fast as you, or just never even run under 219. Have you been able to like kind of wrap your head around that yet?
To be honest, not really. Like, I'm a person that gets something done and then I'm on to the next. So I don't dwell in the achievements as much, but I do study my sport. I do know who has come before me. I do know what these people have achieved. And I know if I can go out there and emulate these type of runs, I think I'm going to be good in the future as well.
Cool. So speaking of times and speaking of records, the
Yeah.
oldest still standing record for indoor track and field in Division One, and you know where I'm going with this right now, this is all per USTF CCCA, is Paul Ehring's 800 meter time of 144.84 from 1989. Hollis Conway also got the high jump record a week later, but that is the oldest indoor record in D1. Has there been any talk about gunning for that time? If so, could you tell us when, where? I don't know how much you can tell us about that.
Man, um, that one's been definitely high fruit to grab. Like, even just thinking about it, you see 144, you're like, okay. You see it indoors and you're like, that's different. So I want to say that I'm capable of doing big things. I want to say that I don't put a cap on myself. The biggest thing that for me is my mindset. And when I think I can do something, I'm gonna go give everything I can to do it. So I'll be lying if I say I'm not thinking about it. But right now, I'm thinking about taking one day at a time, getting better each and every day, and focusing on the now. Because if you focus on the now, the future will take care of itself.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that you were doing a lot of strength work, a lot of bit more mileage heavy, at least. Um, I think people forget that you're an all-American miler as well. So why have we maybe not as dabbled as much in the mile as of late? I mean, obviously you're killing it in the middle, shorter events beyond that. But has there been any talk about doing a mile this year as well?
There actually have been some talks.
Okay.
They're not confirmed yet. Definitely would be somewhere in Boston. I'm not too sure which one, but I'd love to go out there and see what I can throw down in a mile. But the thing about the mile for me is it's an event where you have to put a lot of respect on it. You have to have the right guys around you. You got to be training at the right paces, and you got to do the right work. And each individual running the mile is completely different. I can come from a speed based, and I'm going to hang on for dear life if we're going out in a fast pace. Um, so for me, the mile, I think I'm going to come to it. I'm going to get there. And when I do get there, I want to make sure I'm one of the fastest milers there is. But right
Well,
now, I'm sticking to my 8. I really love it. I love that pain.
yeah, well, that is certainly it seems to be your bread and butter as of late. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, you're the defending national champion over 800 meters from last winter. You've been part of some really interesting battles over the for 800 meters in the national title. You fought against Novatsky Anderson. Of course, that was a lane impediment. He was then disqualified. You were given that win. And then Will Sumner just has this crazy race. And you were able to still grab silver and run 145 there. What have you been able to learn from those kind of battles with Anderson, with Sumner, that you've been able to potentially apply to this season?
Realizing that I'm not the full package. Um, there's a lot of things that I need to work on. There's a lot of things that I'm good at. And I think a lot of people, they work on what they're good at and they forget their weaknesses. So they're going to just depend on their strengths to pull them through and hopefully get these high achievements, these medals, these accolades. For me, I'm like, okay, how did I lose that race? I lost that race because in a toe-to-toe race, Sumner is faster than me. He's got more speed than me. So what do I need to go do? I need to go work on my speed. I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, how, if I was to run this race again, how would I beat him? Not just leave that race and bury it and then, okay, that's it. I need to go and analyze it. And I don't think a lot of kids, a lot of youngsters these days, they don't want to be a student of the sport. Like, go and watch races, go and understand that this is this type of runner, go redo your research and not just wake up and do training and run, because I think a lot of people just run or train for the sake of training. Sometimes they don't even know what that training is going to benefit them in the race.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that actually kind of feeds beautifully into my next question, which was, you kind of already answered this already, but are you someone who kind of studies their opponents, their race tactics and tendencies? And if so, maybe more specifically to this season, I think it is, at least in the eyes of TSR right now, we see you as the clear national title favorite for this season, at least over 800 meters. But we do think that there's some pretty legitimate competition in terms of guys like Handel Roban. I believe you've also faced Usama El Buchebe, who's now at Alabama nowadays. What have you taken any have you studied them at all, just knowing how talented that they are, or have you kind of more focused on, like you said, the things that you need to refine that maybe you don't think you were as strong as before?
I do double in the performances here and there. I don't really bring it into training or dwell on it too much. But yeah, I do oversee them and like, okay, I see he's just run a 1K too. I'm not too sure what the other guys have run just yet, if they've opened their season. But I definitely focus on myself, because a lot of people can, oh, he's doing this, I need to be doing this. Oh, he just ran a mile and he's gone 3:59. I haven't got that strength yet, so he might beat me when it comes to a fast race or something. And I believe in everything Flo says. Like, me and him are locked in. And right now I have to trust him. And if he's saying jump, I'm jumping. So right now all my attention is with Flo, because I know he's going to get me exactly where I need to go. And the rest will take care of itself. When I meet those guys on the track, then I'm pretty sure I have a lot in my arsenal to take the race any which way it wants to go. And just belief in myself that I'm ready and I'm fired up, and I can't wait to get out there and just put on a show.
Well, Yusuf, I know we have a tight schedule today, but one last question. It's 2024. It's an Olympic year. Can you tell us what that summer could potentially look like for you? I assume, is it safe to say that everything that we're doing now is a build up for what could happen this summer?
Yeah, definitely have goals to be in Paris. That is my childhood dream. It's been a long time coming, and I hope everything I do now is helping me get there. And I hope the future Yusuf is like, yeah, man, we I'm thanking the old Biz, because he put in the work, he put his head down, and he believed in himself, and I'm just grateful that he stuck to it.
Well, Yusuf, you're certainly on the right track after running the 1K record of 2:18. Thank you for your time today, and really appreciate it. Best of luck moving forward.
Thanks, Kara. I appreciate having me. I love the strike report, by the way.